Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode of the Fear and Terror podcast. My name is Shifty. I'll be your host for this evening. Tonight we have three hosts coming with us. We have Quavo.
Hello.
We have Epic Sax Guy.
Hello.
And we have No Pun Intended.
Howdy, howdy.
Kind of the basic idea of this podcast is a little more personal on getting to know each other and getting to know the gentlemen here that have given their time with us tonight. On the hand of everything that's been going on, the podcast was kind of delayed for a week, a little bit longer than it was, giving everybody that needed the time to deal with real life situations, as we all know what's going on right now, and to kind of settle with everything. So, how's the 2 week the 2 week quarantine affecting you guys? Has that affected you guys in any way yet?
The quarantine itself hasn't affected me in any way, but my job, we've got like extra precautions that we're taking now.
Yeah, right on. I think we had an email from my company that said that their office was going to take more precautions on what they did. It's not a large office, but I know gatherings and stuff like that of certain amounts
Yeah.
have been shut down. The military itself has shut absolutely everything down.
Damn.
So we're waiting everything except like the biggest exercises.
I
And they made the joke that the exercise was just gonna be in full gas CBRN kit. So hopefully
as far as how it's affected me, like the quarantine itself hasn't affected me, but I work retail. I work at Walmart, and so people coming in for toilet paper, disinfectant, all that shit just has made my life rough.
yeah.
It's just a constant grind at work. But hasn't really affected that much, although the state of Illinois has just basically closed all restaurants and bars. So there's that. Can't really go out to eat or whatnot. Got to get all the food from like grocery store and cook myself, but I didn't really go out to eat much beforehand anyways.
And that's
Ye-
fast food too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they're only allowing. I'm in Illinois as well with Pun, and I believe they're only allowing deliveries and drive-through orders just to minimize any
Drive-through,
sort of
yeah.
spread. But I mean, as that hasn't really affected me either. Besides, like I can't do normal grocery shopping because everyone's panic buying toilet paper. So I can't even go like buy a regular amount of toilet paper because it's all gone, which is unfortunate.
It actually it's nothing like that here. I'm in Ontario, and there's not been any closings. Every store is open. Obviously, yeah, you have not all the stores. I've been to a few grocery stores so far, and not many of them have been sold out of all the toilet paper or all the water.
Mm.
I have yet to see if like I see some pictures of people excluding and not buying Dasani. I want to know if that's true because I hate Dasani. Like I don't know how anybody can even drink that water. But yeah, like when I moved out, I just moved out this weekend. Moved into this my new back with my parents. I had three bathrooms, so there was obviously gonna be TP there, and I had put TP there in case anybody had used them. So I was like, oh, I'm taking that in case whatever. Like I can be a one man army on my own kind of thing. It is what it is. But yeah, hasn't done much of an effect here. I've been a little worried thinking my girlfriend would get like caught with it out where she is, but she says it's not even there yet either. So I don't know, but the army shut down. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I believe our state, Illinois, is only Pun. Maybe you know off the top of your head. I think like 66 confirmed cases, and I mean they're just doing
Yeah.
it to reduce the spread. I mean, like the thing with the closing the schools is not because there's been a ton of outbreaks in schools, but high schoolers are nasty and don't wash themselves, and
Yeah, I
that
forgot
many
about that
people in a
too.
confined space.
Yeah, I forgot. All schools are closed. I think till like at least the end of March.
Yep.
It might be later than that,
A
or
3 week.
with a possible extension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how it is here. We have
What
the
a
schools
time.
closed, and it's crazy.
What a time to be alive. We had March
Yeah.
break, and now you have 2 weeks, and then you're on call for another possible 2 week extension, possibly. That's
Mhm.
insane. I don't know what to
Yeah.
do.
Their summer's gonna suck, I guess.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
probably gonna.
Do you think they
Well, I
would?
mean, not for the
Oh.
seniors. My little brother is still in high school and he's a senior, and they haven't moved the graduation date yet, so
If they
it's
moved
not
the
gonna suck for
graduation
him.
date, that'd be.
I mean, I doubt they will because they already had a lot of shit set up for that and
Yeah.
things planned, and it
If
would
this is
probably
his
just be more
grad,
of a
this is
nightmare.
yeah. If he's graduating in like June or whatever, then this is the time he's getting his grad photos done and everything. So yeah,
Yeah.
that sets him right back because I remember that we had our grad photos like early year. I was surprised. I thought we'd get them done like close to, but yeah.
Nah, they like to knock those out real fast.
Hmm.
Nice. Are you both? You guys aren't still in school, are you?
No,
No,
No.
I'm not in school.
I'm currently taking a break from college just till I can get my shit together.
Oh, nice. What are you doing for?
Computer networking.
You notice how I said, "What are you in for?" As if you could be in prison.
Yeah, as if I'm a convict.
I love it.
No, I was originally going to school for agricultural business, but and that was really just to appease my family, but I really wanted to do computers, and a little over a year ago now, I ended up moving out, getting the job that I have now at Walmart, leaving the family business and just kind of going out on my own,
What's the
trying to find myself.
What's the family business, if you don't mind me asking?
The one I left was a greenhouse.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
yes, for all of you wondering, we grow hemp, but we just applied for our recreational marijuana
Look,
license.
I'm gonna
For
sound like
anybody that's wondering.
I'm gonna sound like dummy. Hemp comes from the weed plant, right?
Yeah, they're basically the same plant, except hemp doesn't have THC, but it has a lot of CBD.
Oh, okay. Right on. Okay, I knew they were different plants. I just didn't know what was different about them. It was just really confusing, and like I
Yeah,
never asked anybody or had the chance to.
yeah, the THC levels. It's basically like a 25-to-1 ratio for the amount of CBD to THC in hemp plants, whereas that ratio is like basically opposite for actual marijuana plants.
Right on. Yeah, you can get licenses out here to grow like I know my buddy's mother has a license to grow. I think it's 180 plants on her property, and
Wow.
and I don't know what she can do with it or how that works. I just know that that was the number that she had said to us when we were there, and she smokes a lot, but I can't reckon she can smoke that amount. I smoke quite a bit too, but I don't think anybody's smoking that amount either. But yeah, uh, I'm not in school either. I was actually supposed to go in school, and I was gonna go in for computers as well, because I did a bit of a co-op with a place where I worked on computers, and I mainly just went there to kind of learn how to build my own. And it was like a bike ride down the trail, and had a lot of fun there. I got to figure out what Unreal Tournament was because that was on a computer. I was like, "What's this?" And yeah, learned some stuff there. But I never finished. Like I finished high school, but I never finished a post secondary career or anything like that. Started working right off the bat. I was in telecommunications. I worked for like what's your like phone provider or like internet, your biggest Verizon?
Comcast or
Comcast,
AT&T.
yeah.
Comcast. Okay, so like Bell Canada is like the largest internet provider, and they have these like technicians that drive around in these very uniform white vans with like the blue logos of Bell and the word Bell on them. And Bell also makes or subcontracts some of their jobs to other companies that are also Bell, but it's like they do some weird business thing where they make smaller companies of themselves. And I worked for one of those smaller companies, and we did like the burials and the installations, which kind of got me into landscaping. And then I left there and got this job, which was landscaping and property management. But yeah, like our first year we had 40. I think we had 35 properties divvied up between two people for snow removal, and you had like 16-hour nights every night, and like 5 hours in between, or like maybe 14, 12 hours. And then this year it was like 30 or 45 properties, and then only three guys, and it took everybody so long to do it, like every time, and the plazas are just huge. But it only snowed on weekends, and I was on a military course through the entire new year. So the second the new year hit, it kept snowing on the weekends, and I wasn't there for it. So they weren't really happy about that. So that kind of actually, I think, pushed them to kind of not like me, and that's why I left and got a better job. But yeah, I remember me and Quavo talking about that in the one channel there, about what we use to plow and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I still do snow removal. Over the summer, I do landscaping sales. We do like commercial properties, and we've got I don't know an exact count. I know it's like 150 or so residential accounts, and then a bunch of commercial properties, plazas, things like that. Um, but snow removal, I still go out and do the plowing with the guys, and I definitely feel you there. I've had some 30-hour days where it just didn't stop snowing, and it's got to get done. You gotta
Exactly. That was the biggest. That was the worst sentence I ever heard anybody ever say. It's gotta get done. And like I'm sitting in my machine, and I've got my head almost sitting on my steering wheel, and I'm like, he's right, and like there's nothing I can do about it. There was a night I had to refill my Kubota, and it was a sidewalk Kubota. I had to refill it with gas 3 times. It
Damn.
kept snowing. I had to get another machine to pull me out at another point. It was monstrous. I think it was like in November too. It was like the first time after one of the first times it snowed, and it was just brutal. But
Yeah,
to the
I've definitely been there too. Like our most of our contracts, pretty much all the commercial ones, start in December, and we get some of those late November snows where pretty much you get all these like rush of calls because no one has a definite contractor yet, and they're just trying to get it done. But yeah, refilling the machine, that's always fun. I've had to drive a skid loader from a movie theater to like across some like busy highway to go get fuel before. So
Oh my god. How was that for the Halloween snow we had this year, Quavo? Were people freaking out too?
stuff like that, really, I mean, our contracts aren't started yet. So, I mean, if
Right.
people want us to come out and maintain, if they want us to do it, that's fine. But we have no contracts or obligations to go out there and do anything. And typically the ground is still so warm then that even when it does snow, like we don't really get too much buildup on the pavement.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that this year it snowed on Halloween and it stuck, and everybody was just driving like idiots. How they
Yeah.
do when it snows.
That was like one of the first snowfalls we had here, and exactly what he said. Our contracts for snow weren't created yet, and so the first night we had properties that the yearly package already included a snow package. We did those properties, and then the second night hit, and we had to do triple what we had to do the first night. And I don't think anybody was really ready for that, because people were like, "Well, we need a package. We need a package now," and some of them were hastily done, and a lot of those people wouldn't even pay their bills because the amount we had to go there and salt and plow, and it stuck, which was the stupid part. And we thought the same thing too. Like it was early, it was still early on. I think it was just early November, and why is it sticking to the ground? It's like it was confusing us, but
Yeah, unfortunately, it just seems to come with the territory as far as people not paying their bills. They want you out there immediately to get, their plazas and their business parks open, but when they get a however many $1,000 bill afterwards, after you get like a week straight of snow, uh, it's just they don't like the bill afterwards, and it's just unfortunate. It seems to just come with the territory.
I was even gonna say if they like locked us out of working, then like if they kept us home for the quarantine for coronavirus, then they should like pay a month of a bill, or something, like just cut that out for a little bit, like whatever it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how that'll play out, but thankfully I don't think it'll snow anymore, and hopefully it doesn't. But
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, middle of March, even if it does snow, it will probably only be a light snow.
yeah,
pun
Yeah.
did you get that stuff by you over yesterday, Saturday?
Oh yeah, I got it. I wasn't driving, so
nice.
but yeah, we got some. It didn't stick.
I
Yeah,
got
no,
some.
it didn't stick at
Still
all.
light dusting.
Nice.
Oh, you got a dusting? I got like an inch.
Shit.
No, we
I'm
didn't
like
get
right near
anything
right
really.
near the lake, and I didn't get anything in the last couple of days. It's been nice. So before we started, and actually Quavo, before you were here, we had a conversation, and the conversation was pretty interesting and ironic because it involved corn, which is something I ate today. So we're gonna get into like how all of us got our names. I don't know if I can't remember if I put myself explain my name in another podcast. I'll do it briefly, but I'll save that for last. But Quavo, if you want to start, 'cause first of all, your picture is my favorite too. I wish I could put that on the
Thank you.
podcast wallpaper. We were just talking about that. What was your picture before you get started?
It was it was a picture of Squidward with making an
Oh,
O face, and
Yes,
it said "I'm
that's
chilling."
what it was.
I remember that.
So
That's
it was,
what it was. I couldn't
Yes,
remember.
it was Squidward. Yes.
Yeah.
So cool.
yeah, it was the chumming picture, and that one was beautiful. But as far as my name, this was just sort of what I came up with because I wanted an alias that didn't match like any of my other accounts online because I was like completely new to Discord when I made this account, and I'm like, oh, I don't really want this one completely lining up with all my other ones, so I'm like, hey, Quavo from the Migos has some like pretty ridiculous hooks, and they're not my favorite rap group or anything, but they've got some hilarious hooks. So that's just what I went with. And sometime, I can't even tell you when it was. It was sometime around like when I merged into FAT that I switched over my profile picture to Hannibal Buress drinking a 40 in a death basket.
Well, I remember the old Squidward one, so it was definitely after you came into FAT because I joined. Hell, we all joined at like the exact same time, basically. I just happened to join during the merger, and you two came from the merger.
Yeah, it might have been a couple months after that. It's not necessarily something I pay too much attention to.
Well, yeah.
Pun, how'd you come up with your name?
Well,
Oh, my mic was muted.
well, I forget I think the name I used to use, I'll start with that, was Genius GRA was the name. I don't know how I came up with that one, but I just didn't like it. And then actually, when I bought my Minecraft account, I was thinking of a name. I was like, you know what? I like puns and I like the phrase "no pun intended." So why the hell not go with that? And it's funny because a lot of people in games, they don't realize that it's no pun intended, and they think it's like no punishment or something like that. I hear that all the time. And but even though my name is no pun intended, most people either call me no pun or just pun, which I mean, I've debated switching my name to either no pun or just pun, but every time I've brought it up, people are like, "No, don't. I like the full name." So I haven't, just because people seem to appreciate the full name.
Big pun.
Big pun.
I think don't we have some other like no pun guy though?
There's a guy called, I think well, he changed his name again, but it was like Sai, the average pun guy, I think. He wasn't a member though. He was just somebody that hung out in Discord channels, and well, he said he was my brother because we both had pun in our name.
Yeah, people said me and Shifty were twins until they heard us. I used to have people message me about Tarkov things, and at first I completely forgot why I'd even being messaged about those things, and I was like, oh, I get it now. I was like, it's
EU Shifty.
It's the EU. It's the EU.
It's the other one.
it's the other one. Yeah, my name I came from the Band of Brothers guy. If any of you guys watch Band of Brothers, Shifty. It's just what my dad called me. I can't remember why. He bought me a paintball vest and just decided to get Shifty on the back of it, and gave it to me for freaking Christmas or something like that. I can't remember. I was like, oh gee, like thanks. And that's what I used. It was like my call sign. Everybody calls me that. I go to the weed store and I hear Shifty, and I think it's like a gamer or something like that, or somebody I know. And it's the guys I used to play paintball with. They're all working there now. It's like, wow, what do you know? That's another crazy thing too. Is like now that weed's legal, I go to a store and wait in a line outside to get access in. It's like a crazy place now.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's not like the way it used to be. But so yeah, you guys talked about the merge. So just talk.
Hang on.
Yeah.
We haven't gone over Sax's name yet.
Oh, Sax, yeah.
Yeah. So for my name, I used to have another name I'd go by. It was Stuart Little is a marching band nickname. I got that nickname because I was the shortest guy in band. My first year, I was yeah. Oh, I was short. So when I decided to get more into PC gaming, I was like, I need to change this name because it makes no sense to no one, and it's an inside joke. No one's gonna get it. So I was trying to think of something that related to me, but people would also know. And I was like, well, I play saxophone, and people know who Epic Sax Guy is. So that's my name.
Nice. That's actually the best. That's actually awesome.
Fucking Stuart Little.
Every time I look at Quavo's image, I just keep going whack in my head. Just playing on auto tune. I'm ready to say something, and like I'm looking at Sax's name. I'm like, oh yeah, like it's the Epic Sax Guy, and then I look 5 centimeters over, and I'm like whack. Like, it won't leave my head. But yeah, how many years ago was it that you guys merged and came over here?
Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Nah, it was about a year and a half.
Yeah, it was
Once-
August 2018. I
August
believe.
of I think
Once
August,
we hit
'cause-
August, it'll be 2 years.
Is there a way
'Cause
you can
it-
pull up your application to find out?
Fuck, I could.
We
I
didn't
could-
have applications. We
I
just got
think
in.
I had an application,
guys
but
just
I
moved
think
in,
I
yeah.
sent.
I
See,
think
at
Ton
that
had an
time,
app.
we were sending them straight to Jimmy. So if I scroll up in my DMs to Jimmy, I could probably find
That's so
the
fun.
day I applied. But I mean, it was like the day of the merger. It was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was August 27th, so maybe a couple days after the merger. So yeah, that was I messaged Jimmy directly. That's how it was done back then because we were so small. Jimmy handled everything.
A little extra side history. Me and Quavo came from BLT, but before that we were in another group known as the 97th Combat Group.
Ooh.
And that's where we met Murder. I think Murder's the only one that stuck around from that group.
Nice.
Everyone else has kind of vanished.
We do actually. We still have Paladin Drake.
Paladin
he's
Drake
the
came
only
back.
other one.
Yeah. Paladin Drake's back. Yeah, so me, Murder, Paladin Drake, and then we went to BLT, and then BLT came to FaT.
Bacon, lettuce, tomato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Bond Brothers.
did Jay come from? Sorry, this is a bit off topic, but did Jay come from BLT as well?
Ooh, that's a great question because I don't remember.
Yeah. That's the
I think
thing.
so.
Like me, Sax, Murder, and Paladin Drake. We were in 97 CG and we were playing regularly together.
Mm.
And it got to the point where the leader of that group was basically always just playing some like I
It's
don't
like
even know what
Space
it was.
Engineers, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
Space Engineers or like trucking simulator, and
Do
he
you guys play
just
that? Space Engineers?
no, it was just something that guy played, and we were all playing squad together, and we were like regularly playing, trying to get better. And I was very new to the game at the time, And it got to the point where like the dude was never around, so um, somehow Murder linked up with BLT and like made the agreement for them to absorb all of us except basically the leader and maybe one or two guys from 97 CG into BLT. And Sax, I don't know if the time off the top of my head, but was it even like a month after we joined BLT that BLT merged
Yeah,
into FAT?
it was like a month, maybe a month and a half in BLT, and then they're like, "Oh, we're going to FAT." And we're like, "Okay."
Yeah, and the reason, but the reason I brought up Jay was just because really it was Quavo, Sax, Murder Fist, and J.O. Poppin were like the first 4 people I became friends with in FAT, and basically became friends with them at like the same time. So that's really why I brought him up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's understandable. You guys all play squad too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're all on the squad con team?
yep.
Ooh, I'm an active.
Sax and I are. Quavo,
I used to, but I just don't have time for it anymore.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I don't do it anymore. I had a lot of fun. That was an entirely different feeling to gaming. I've never played it in a competitive sense. My very first time playing it, I've never had Murder yell at me before, and a lot of people actually remembered me for that. So I actually stayed away from it and then came back later, and it was a lot of fun. I had a good time, but it mattered. You know what I mean? I could play other games and meme around and stuff like that, but this game, this particular match mattered. So it was a little not stressful, but it was different for sure. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Absolutely. It's arguably the best way to play the game. You know, you're surrounded by guys who know what they're doing, and you're, you know, even if everyone's not the best player necessarily, but you know, you've got guys all on your side that know what the plan is, what they're doing. You know, it's not like trying to rely on public players, and it's really just like a whole nother level of the game.
Yeah, and I just looked mine up. I came here around 2018. It was like, yeah, November 2018, I think is what it said. I
Nice.
think Killerim was actually the guy that recruited me. I can't remember how I met Killerim.
Tarkov?
I think it was Tarkov, yeah, for sure, because he was director of it eventually. And
Yeah, he's
He
director.
started out
back
as
then.
director of it.
yeah, and it was a lot of fun. I had a great time. I played with when they had the Raiders too. But a lot of those guys I don't really see anymore. We had great times when Labs came out. The fun we would have there. It was just like hours and hours and hours on end. It was great. But yeah, I about two years ago now, and I didn't really come from another group. I actually played a lot of Arma 3 Altus Life, and I'm still pretty good friends in real life with a lot of those guys. Some of them live in Michigan, probably about an hour and a half drive from me. Probably more, I don't really know. And we all plan on meeting up and hanging out too. But yeah, I play Space Engineers a lot. I've been working on the same ship for about 2 years now.
Holy hell.
Yeah, and I just try to upgrade. I just basically this year made it survival proof. So like oxygen, like conveyor tubes to the turrets, to the engines, to the reactors.
Nice.
Everything
Wow.
has resources in it, and actually like, it moves. It's a great ship. And
Is it one of those where it's got like a hangar bay in there for smaller ships?
I've got one small hangar bay at the back for a single drop ship.
Mm.
So like I guess if people wanted to come to and from, you'd come through that docking area. You got the main hangar bay, which has it can. I use those Vipers from Battlestar Galactica because someone made a pretty good version of it. And I'm like, man, that's a small sick fighter. It works. It can house about 8 of those, maybe even 10 if you really want to fit them. And they're all like secured and sealed. You can take those with you. And then there's actual like drop bays where they don't house Vipers, but they house ordnance that welders create and artificial mass, like guided missile systems and all that jazz. It can fire those out as well. It's got a couple experimental cannons in the front. One of them's like a rotor that a cannon that fires pistons, and they just eat ships alive. they fire at a slow velocity. I wish I could fire them faster, but they just absolutely eat ships alive. It's great. But I never get a chance
Nice.
to battle other people. The game's not that optimized. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what you have. I have a 2060 Super in this thing, and it works the same as it always would.
Talking about hardware, Sax and I.
Oh god.
So when we first joined, or at least when I first joined and started PC gaming, I started on a laptop, and the laptop had I want to say an i7 7700K, the mobile version, and then in uh, 1060, 6 gig, but the mobile version, and it just couldn't run anything. It had overheating issues. It was just really a crap computer, and then over the summer, I was finally able to save up enough money, and actually, thanks to Quavo, found a Reddit listing near us because Quavo and I live kind of pretty close to each other, and uh, found a computer. It has a 1080, what is it? An AMD Ryzen 5 second gen. No, it's a Ryzen 7, 2600, and like 16 gigs of RAM, and I got that plus a monitor, an ultra wide monitor for 850. So it was a hell of a deal. And after that, like my my performance in all my games immediately went up just
Right.
because I wasn't in as bad a boat as Sax was, but I'd run at 60 frames, but then every 10 seconds I'd drop to like 5 frames for a couple seconds and then pop back up.
Yeah, I mean, Pun, I think I sent you that listing like a half hour after it was listed too.
Yeah,
So you
it
jumped
was
right on that.
Yep. It was just got lucky with where it was, when it was, everything.
Yeah, you can get lucky like that too. I bought an Alienware though. I did get lucky with the graphics card I just got because I got a 2060 Super for under $300 Canadian, and
Damn.
that was on Black Friday. What actually happened was I went out and I bought a 2070 Super, or sorry, it was a 2080 Super. It had 3 fans, and it was just too long, even when I took the back plate off, like you told me, and I was so upset. And there's no refunds on that day, so I had to go back. Was this Boxing Day? I can't. It was Boxing Day, I think. Yeah. And so I went back. I waited. I went back and bought the 2060 Super because the 2070 came in a 3 fan as well. The 2060 Super came in a 2 fan, so I bought that and threw that in here. And then I have like 16 gigs of RAM, but the problem is above everything else, I still have an i3 6100K in this thing. And it runs every other game except Modern Warfare, and it runs Modern Warfare to a T, but I still get a stutter, and I can't. It won't fix it. It's got to be with my processor.
Yeah.
But
And Sax had a bad situation too.
I did. I was I started college, so I got, as a graduation gift from high school, I got a laptop, and I was using that as my main gaming PC as well. And I was playing squad anywhere between 15 to 10 frames a second.
oof.
And I played squad at that frame rate for about 1,200 hours before I had saved up enough money to buy a legit desktop.
That was me in Arma 3. If anybody here knows that, or anybody listening knows the struggle of playing Arma 3 on a crap PC, i.e. a laptop, which broke from overheating, because I played Altus Life for like probably the 3,000 hours I almost have on Arma 3 are from Altus Life. And it was like an honest lifestyle at that point, from going on every day to doing my 2 to 3 hours a day crap talking people on the forums, to going in game that night and like wiping them out or getting wiped out and losing my mind in real life. But there's also a real life economy in that game where people sold in-game money for real life currency, and like I played semi-pro paintball, and I guess you see like competitive paintball. I don't know if it's like semi-pro, but all my money would just go to that I made off that, and basically I'd be able to play that for free, which wasn't ever an issue. But yeah, definitely need to upgrade my processor, and I need to get help on that too, because I have to upgrade my motherboard. And everybody's like, you might as well buy a whole new PC, but I don't want to do that. I just want to get the motherboard because I can put it in myself. Like I have no issue. Anybody can do that. But to get a new processor means you gotta get a new motherboard. And I don't mind doing that. I just gotta figure out what I need to get and what's compatible with everything I got. So
I mean, you do have a 6000 series, so you could also you can grab a used 6000 series i5 or i7.
that's
Yeah,
what I
like a
thought.
You know, that's a
6600
good
or a
yeah.
6700K.
Mhm.
Like 6700Ks are still around and used quite heavily. It was a great processor.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I might even check that out then, just so I can play everything up to par. Modern Warfare, I play the Warzone. The Warzone is perfect, no stutters whatsoever, which is crazy. You have 150 players on a huge map, and everything has to be loaded in. And then I go play multiplayer on shipment, and I'm getting stutters out the wazoo. So I gotta figure out what's going on there, because I've never had that before. But the biggest improvement that I had was Arma 3. And when I got the new graphics card, I went on the one map they have, the jungle map, Tanoa. And the second I say that, and anybody listening is probably like, yeah, Tanoa is probably like one of the nicest places. And if you agree with me, then God bless, because it's like probably the densest and nicest jungle I've ever seen in a video game, and it forces everybody on what do you call it, on like close combat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Quavo just say as a 4690K, that's
Yeah.
brutal.
Jeez.
Yeah,
I feel that.
yeah, so I've had my desktop since I don't know what it was, maybe 2014 or so, and I built it originally at 4690K and a 970. When I really got into Squad, I found a used ultra wide. It's not a gaming monitor; it's a professional monitor. But hey, I was like, hey, for $300 for a 34-inch ultra wide, like I'm not going to complain about it not being a gaming monitor. And at that time, Squad was extremely poorly optimized. So my 970 just could not handle the 1440p blades, because it's like 3440 by 1440, right? And I ended up finding a used 1080 Ti hybrid water cooled model on eBay for like 550. So my system is extremely imbalanced. My overclock on the 4690K is as high as it will go with a Noctua NHD15, which is a massive tower cooler. And the poor thing it's nearly dead, but I'm getting every little penny out of it I can.
Nice. Speaking of almost dead, that's like the actual fan I have for my room. I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but like it works really hard and like blows really hard, like perfectly for like a month, and then after that month, it does not. It just seems like it's lacking, and I think my fan here has got so much dust in it. It's hard to get a lot of it out because it actually doesn't come apart. But
Do you use the original cooler?
for my computer, I
Oh,
do.
he's talking. I
But
think
I
he's
was just
talking
talking
like
about a
the
fan in
desk.
my room. But
Oh,
on the
oh.
topic of my actual cooler, no, I changed. I clean my fans out on the regular. I clean everything on that computer. But
Yeah.
I think the fans on my graphics card will help it out a lot. Plus the airflow that comes in from the window to the room, and the side panel that I actually have is the one with all the good vents that the air just goes right through, and I can even feel the vent on the side now. It's actually really really cold, so hopefully it's running at a nice temperature. I don't want to pull that up because I run my second monitor. I guess I'll throw the behind the scenes here. But for every podcast, we keep like the static, dynamic, or like whatever, not static. It's the wallpaper we have on Wallpaper Engine. I keep that up as like a background for the YouTube video for the MP4, so it just constantly runs. But if I pop anything up, then that'll interrupt it. So I don't do that while I'm on a podcast. But
Gotcha.
oh, I just got invited to PlanetSide too, which is really funny because I literally just talked about this with Killer. I'm like maybe a few weeks ago, and I was like, nobody plays this anymore. My friend's like, come play PlanetSide too. And he said there's like 3,000 players on it once. I don't know if
Wow.
you guys played that before. I don't know if you guys have like
No.
played PlanetSide. I haven't. I think I played PlanetSide 1 a long time ago, but yeah, I don't know how that works. That's a bit crazy, but
Oh, another thing that I wanted to kind of talk about was everybody or a lot of people in the Discord call me like the corn boy or whatever,
Yeah.
and say I have an obsession with corn. And that wasn't even me that started it. It started because I mentioned one time that like my family, I grew up farming, like grew up on a family farm, and uh, I've posted some pictures of me and tractors and stuff before, and then everybody else, or like not, yeah, but everybody else, I think it was Pox actually that started saying that I was obsessed with corn. I might be wrong, and basically everybody else has just jumped on the bandwagon and has basically said that I'm like obsessed with corn and such. I'm not, but I still stick with it just for the meme of it.
Gotta keep the meme alive,
You
man.
gotta keep the meat
Of
alive, man.
course.
Corn husk pun.
Do you like cream
Yep.
corn?
I'm the corn husker. Of course I like cream
I
corn.
love cream corn. I haven't had that in ages. The second we brought that up again, I was like, ooh. Corn on the cob. Corn on the cob. I feel so bad for people because you should.
Corn on the cob is the
I
best.
shouldn't eat 6 cobs, but I can. And if I butter it, I will. And I just throw it on
Exactly.
a fork too, so I have a good handle, so I have good ergonomics, and I can
I
just
th-
go for minutes until it's
I
done.
think it's at some point you're just eating butter and not really corn.
Yeah, you're right. Probably right.
Nothing wrong with that though.
Nothing wrong with that.
Hey, you know,
At
I'm
least
not
after the third.
nothing wrong with that.
And then chicken follows after that, and I eat about the same amount, if not more. But yeah, when it comes to like family dinners, they make corn. It's like a lot more than usual. I probably shouldn't tell people that I'll be the new corn father, but I don't want to be. People used to call me corn dog because my last name was Connors, and somebody started calling me con dog in the army as like as a joke or something like that, and then it was on basic training when this was said, and one of my instructors was staying in the same room, and one person said con dog, and the instructor staying beside me and turned around, he's like, corn dog, and he obviously knew that's not what he said, and that clicked into me really quick too. I'm like that's not what he said. I'm like, wait, he knows that's not what he said, and the way he was looking at me was just like, I'm never gonna forget this. And I've been way past basic training now to the point where like we've both been promoted. And like every time I pass him, it's just like corn dog gets said, or they'll say Terminator because my name's Sean Connors, and they think that's really close to John Connor. So
That's pretty damn close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty close. I don't mind that. I think the Terminator series is a great series. I don't care what anybody says. So, and Sean Connery, I'm a letter off from Sean Connery too. And
Yeah.
I heard there's a city in Ireland I think called Connaught, and there's a king of Connaught, and at some point in my life I'll reclaim that. But I'm not there yet. I still have to work out a little bit more. But
You gotta get your nobility up. You gotta be more noble.
oh, 100%. You gotta be more noble too. And
You gotta demand more
you gotta
things,
drink more. Definitely gotta
Yeah.
drink more before you go over there.
especially in Ireland.
Yeah. Where have you guys traveled outside of the U.S.?
Outside of the U.S.,
I
no.
went to Canada on a fishing trip right after I graduated high school. Um, actually, it was with one of my teachers, but what he does is like there's this group in the United States, this agriculture group called the FFA. It's like a high school organization. It actually has like 700,000 members across the United States, all in high school. So it's a pretty big organization, but my school's chapter, one of the teachers every year, the seniors that have been there for 4 years, after you graduate, he will take you on a trip to Canada for 8 days fishing, and it only cost me like, in the end, I only ended up paying like $100 just because I did like work concession stands and shit to help pay for it.
Yeah.
So for $100, I got to go to Canada fishing for a week, and that was just so fucking relaxing.
Dude, the place I live is like there's a private quarry across the street, and then on the other side of that quarry, there's a quarry where like it's like it's a camping resort. it's not even that loud. People are rowdy, and like my friends will generally go there once or twice in the summer, and I'll just come over. I'll sleep at home. I don't care. It's a 2-minute walk. I'll be able to make it home if I'm drunk. It's no problem.
Yeah.
But like I'll just I even say that like oh they say that too like oh Sean can bring a house to a 10 party. But it's funny because I my one group of friends party there, and then my other group of friends from like high school go there as well. They go like I think once a summer. I have yet to actually go and hang out with them, but I think they have just as big of a blast. I go generally with my paintball buddies, and the one year we went, like security came because some people were trying to like dive into the gorge from our campsite, and you weren't allowed to past 10 o'clock, and it was like 1 in the morning, so obviously not.
Ooh. Yeah.
And they were like, oh, we're just gonna go for a swim. We're like, get out of here. But yeah, we used to have sometimes, and they were American too, but like we never really had issues with them. But they were like, oh, you Canadians, and we're like, oh, we get it. That shouldn't be thrown out, but it is. But whatever.
Here we go.
I tried to ask Jay where he came from for FAT, and I still never got a response. That's upsetting.
That's Jay for you.
I think he doesn't respond. I want to say he was in BLT as well. I think he came with the merger, but he said he joined BLT like just before the merger or something.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he was from Breakout, but I'm pretty sure he came
No.
from a merger.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's from BLT. I don't want to say definitely though.
That's pretty cool. Right, that's awesome.
Oh, gotta wiggle my mouse.
But yeah, no,
Shoot.
I've been to Canada. I've been to some like countries in the Bahamas, but I've never really gone anywhere other than that.
Bahamas, damn, that'd be a nice place.
Bahamas.
Just some like places on a cruise, you know, stay on the cruise ship and have some fun, and then you go off to you know stop at a port and go into some country, and you get harassed by the locals to go basically give them money and go on tours and stuff like that, and try not to get murdered or
I
whatever.
was gonna say I'll take you right. They'll take you to a good spot.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. I mean, not everyone's a bad person. Don't get me wrong, but like, you know the ones that are like targeting tourists purposely. They're like, hey, you want a private tour through the mountains? You come hop in my unmarked car.
All this just reminded me of that Fallout New Vegas quest. I don't know if anybody's played that or not, but anybody who just had that thought, then good for you. You go through like a tour of a place called Freeside, and you get like stuck up at one point.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, great game.
That's great game. Thank you. I think someone else just said they bought it to one of my friends, and my friend just went off on how good of a game it was, and I was just like, good for you. It's like, if you didn't say that, I was going to. But
It was a fantastic game.
It was great, and if you got mods working, you got them working right, you can actually play Fallout 3 in New Vegas at the same time. There's a train that took you to both maps, and oh yeah,
nice.
It was great. You could in all the quests intertwined with you could play the Fallout 3 timeline, and then you could go over and play the Fallout New Vegas timeline. That was really cool.
See, what my biggest thing with Fallout is yeah, I liked the storylines of Fallout 3 and New Vegas much more than the storyline of Fallout 4. But I liked the in-game mechanics of Fallout 4 better. Like, I liked the power armor and the ability to like mod it and make it custom and all that. I liked the settlement building of Fallout 4. Like, I liked that shit. I just feel like the story was so bland compared to especially New Vegas. So
New Vegas was just too many factions and they were trying to add in too many features and trying to implement them in the game. In my opinion, like the reputations and stuff like that, it was just too easy to be absolutely hated by everybody before you even had a chance. Like, you're vilified. I don't know how many times the word vilified was thrown on my screen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, have to reboot a save. Like, I didn't want that.
I don't know, Shifty. That sounds like a you problem. I think you were going around slaughtering people.
Yeah, I think you were just an asshole.
Pretty good rap.
He's just robbing all the bars and all the traders.
Now, the biggest question is NCR or Caesar's Legion?
NCR.
NCR, yeah.
I was in
Yeah.
CR because I wanted the M16 rifle. The service rifle. I was literally MCR just because I wanted that gun. That was it, the only reason. And then I heard they had the M1 Garand. Oh, what was it called? My Rifle or something like that.
I don't really remember.
I can't remember either, but you got it from some sketchy quest where the dude was actually, I think, a Caesar's Legion spy. I can't remember. But yeah, I remember that was in the game, and I was like, well, I need that. So I was literally just trying to kill somebody in the NCR, which is probably adding to the point where it was a me problem because I probably got vilified from everybody.
Yeah, you're thinking of this machine was the
This
M1
machine,
Garand.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
This machine,
yeah, it's the
that's
battle
machine.
rifle in
Battle
308.
rifle. Yeah, made my day. The absolute best. And in the Fallout 4, they brought that back as well. And yeah, you're right about Fallout 4 being like the settlement mechanics, the graphics as well, how fluent they made everything. I have hours upon hours upon hours just making a simple hideout for myself, putting everything on shelves piece by piece, like putting followers in there, customizing them. Like, I used to spend so much time, and then it was the depressing factor that no one was gonna see it because it's a
Yeah.
single player game. So I have
See,
nothing.
I always use Sanctuary Hills, I think is what it was called, just the main town, the original town. I always used that as my spot to build places. I'd scrap all the buildings except for like my original home or every building I could. So, and then I'd just build that into a massive base.
I did Starlight Drive-In. I walled the whole thing off. And I got a 105mm howitzer mod. And I used to set those things up. But you actually, thank you, Quavo, for remembering this. Or no, it's Sax. I'm sorry about that. Aloe had a statement, and let me see it here. Or no, from Sax to Aloe. I love it when you serenade my ears, baby. But when's the big iron coming out? Love Aloe.
That kind of ties into what we were just talking about.
Yeah, I figured it was good now. If you want to add on what he means, Sax.
So basically, I every now and then when I play saxophone, I hop into one of the voice channels. I'll either hop into one of the other game channels or lobby, and I'll just have my mic open while I'm playing. Aloe jumped in and listened a bit, and then he's like, "You need to learn how to play Big Iron." I was like, "All right, let me find a sheet, practice it a bit, and I'll let you know when I've got it done." I have the sheet, and I haven't practiced it yet, so I'm getting there. I'm halfway.
Got the sheet.
I got the sheet. I just need to practice, and then we're good.
That's awesome. Big Iron was like one of the most played songs that we had on our speaker when we would drive around our supply truck to go put sandbags up for all the floodings and
I mean, it's such a good song.
It is though. You can't get
It might be an old song, but it's so good.
Seriously. That might be the outro for the podcast from here on out. This might be no, this is
Big Iron.
Oh, I'd have to go around for like days trying to get copyright infringement, and people would just be like, "Why do you want this and for what?" But, yeah, so.
For a podcast,
just do like
a gaming podcast.
Yeah,
and you're fine.
You know what's kind of weird was like some of the songs in Fallout, like I didn't even hear them there first. I mean, a bunch of them I did, but
yeah,
I have a good family friend who has a long story short, lake house in Michigan, and we would go there a lot, like ever since I was a kid. And his brother is like a lot older than him, and would always put on just like oldies and then like country, like old country. So I heard a bunch of those songs, so it was kind of nostalgic to like hear them when I like played Fallout for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I knew the song Big Iron before I ever even played Fallout 4 because my dad, or Fallout New Vegas, I'm dumb, but because my dad loved Marty Robbins and would play it all the time, so I knew the song before I played it, and then when it started playing, I was like, hell yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, the music definitely inclined me to go on murdering sprees games within Fallout, however. Doesn't matter what anybody says. When you're going down DC and all that swing music's playing, or you're going down Boston and Diamond City radio is on. I never listened to radios until I think I was literally watching him play, and he had a power armor suit, which 99% of the game I completed with never touching a power armor suit until I got a mod to make it look like a Space Marine from 40K. And then that's when I actually started using it. But he was using it with a minigun and just this music playing, and was just slaughtering the entire city. And I thought I was in my house. It's like, wow, like that's nice. Like that's not too bad. And my computer was trashed before I got the graphics card update, and so I didn't really play it. I think I had a 950 with the i3 going on, so it didn't play that well, and I couldn't really have anything like large scale. So I had this huge base at Starlight Drive-In, but I couldn't really go to it. And anytime I tried to load it on the map, I would just crash. So I had to load near it and walk to it. And basically have to walk backwards to it, because if I turn around, it would just crash. So
Oh my god.
I was at that point. The build cap limits, you actually have to make them, because your game just won't handle it at that point. But yeah, that's pretty much all I did on that game there. Sorry, I was just reading something here. I was just thinking of Country Road, and it's
Country,
from Fallout
yes.
76, and I had to look
Yep.
and see if I actually had it in my library. I listen to that song all the time. I've never played Fallout 76.
I mean, that's just a meme song in the gaming community at this point.
I think, yeah, like everybody just watched the trailer and nobody bought the game. Like, what a disappointment that is.
Well, since we kind of brought up hardware a little bit before, I know we talked about current hardware and most recent hardware. I'm curious, what were you guys' first graphics cards?
Oh God.
It would have been that 1060. I think the actual designation of it was like the 1060 6 gig Max Q edition, which
Oh,
was
wow.
basically the Max Q is the mobile version.
That was your
Laptop
first
version.
graphics card?
Yeah, that laptop was my first gaming computer, or and then I got the 1080 that I have right now.
My laptop didn't have a dedicated graphics card. It had an integrated graphics.
Good
So
old
my f-
APU.
Oh yeah. So my first graphics card is what I have now. So GTX 1060 Ti.
You know, you guys aren't that much younger than me, so this is gonna make me feel old. And like, I'm not old, but my first was it was a Christmas present. It was a GeForce 8400 GS.
Oh man.
So it's
Wow.
a 1 gigabyte PCI Express 2.0, and I threw that in my parents', the family computer. I only had I had my own like compact Presario laptop at the time, and I would steal the neighbor's Wi-Fi to get good internet because we had dial-up at the time. So I threw that 8400 in with whatever processor was in that compact, and it was trash, and it really did not help as much as I thought it was. It was better than nothing. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it was terrible. So I'm extremely envious that those are the first cards that you guys got to experience.
I think they
Well-
had 7600 series, no?
76.
Did they have them in the
I don't know.
7000s too?
Oh, as far as like the pre GT and
Yeah,
GTX series,
I think.
I believe so.
Okay, so I remember my dad came back with, I don't know if they're two 7600s or something like that, but he came back with two graphics cards for my computers, for mine and my dad's, and they played Call of Duty and Call of Duty United Offensive, which were like the first Call of Duties to come out on computer, and that's basically all they'd really play. They played like Call of Duty 2 when that came out, but that was kind of a stretch, and a couple other games later on, but the games I played. Stronghold Crusader, StarCraft, Green Berets, all those games, they didn't really take up a lot of graphics. Myth 2, that was one of my favorites out there, but it's a Bungie game.
But the thing is, I didn't even get into PC gaming until it was probably about 2 years ago at this point, because it was probably 6 months before I joined FAT, I didn't even get into computer gaming because growing up, my dad was really strict and didn't really like video games. I mean, yeah, I had an Xbox and like I had an Xbox, I think well, I had a 360 and then I got a one without him knowing I got it. I bought it myself without him knowing. And but we also didn't have internet at my house. Uh I don't know why, but I guess his reasoning for it is if we needed internet, we'd go to one of the businesses because my family owns a few different businesses other than the greenhouses. But so I didn't really have access to internet for a long while, and so couldn't really play many online games or whatever on the computer. And it wasn't really until I moved out that I was able to actually have a good internet connection. I think Sax and Quavo can attest my internet connection that I used to play on because I used to just take my laptop to my family's greenhouse and play there because we had Wi-Fi there and it was only like a mile down the road. Uh,
Yeah.
but I called it shitternet because my pinging squad would always be like at least 200 minimum, and
Jeez.
so that was also part of like me sucking at the game. Uh, so that's really why I didn't get into computer gaming until fairly recently compared to a lot of people. It's just because I didn't really have access to it.
Yeah, that's definitely understandable. Like, I mean, I wasn't really super into it until I built this desktop. Like, I mean, having that graphics card in my old family computer that helped. But like, I mean, we had literal shitternet. We had a dial up at the time. Like,
Oh,
I'm sorry that you guys probably don't even remember dial up,
yeah,
but
I do.
it was
I know what
I,
it is.
I remember it. My dad used to.
Shit.
We had a computer at home, and he needed it for work every now and then, and it's slow.
Slow is an understatement. You'd wait all
Yeah.
fucking night to get one picture of a titty to load.
Oh
It
god.
would start from the top and just little like it would go down, and you just wait for you'd wait for the nipples. They'd be on the same line, right?
Yep. If you were lucky.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I'd be on the phone with my girlfriends. I had more than one throughout time, but yeah, I always had to get off so they can use the internet. I'd go on there and then I'd go on the. I had my own time on the computer, which was like apparently I think I had like 15 minutes on the computer every night, which was like nothing. I'd go play paint.
Yeah.
I'd get off. My dad would go play some
Play
other video
paint.
game. Yeah. Or pinball. That was another favorite of mine.
Oh yeah, Space Cadet Pinball.
Yep,
Oh, yeah,
Space Cadet
dude.
Pinball. That was the one.
Damn,
Hey.
you guys, at least those are real games, dude. I remember when the most exciting thing on our Windows 95 PC was just literally the maze screen.
Oh my god.
That was literally the most exciting thing you could do.
I actually
Oh,
ended up
screensavers, right?
reinstalling. I reinstalled that Maze screensaver onto my laptop
It's the
a couple
pipes.
months before I got this
Yeah, it's the pipes.
computer.
No. Pipes
No,
is
no, there's a
different.
maze.
There's a maze, dude. It's
Yeah.
from 95 and 98, where it was a 3D maze that like the computer would sort of walk through just
Yeah.
repeatedly.
There was also the
Oh.
pipes too.
The pipes are my favorite. I love
Yeah.
the pipes.
Pipes was Windows XP. That's a classic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a true
Windows
classic.
XP, I remember everybody, that was the hype. Oh, you can make your own profile, so you thought you're like the best, and then people could customize the color of their taskbars.
Yes, the silver.
The silver or the green.
You remember something I remembered earlier today actually about Windows XP? Remember how in Windows XP when you hit Control Alt Delete, it just automatically brought up the task manager? You didn't have to click the second thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
Speaking of
My
Windows
little-
XP,
My little brother didn't even remember that was a thing. I was like, "How do you not remember that? What do you mean?"
Apparently, if you do Control Alt Escape, it pops up.
Oh,
But I've never done that. I'm not gonna do that right now either. 'Cause
yeah, I'm not gonna.
Nobody else tried. Because if
Yeah.
that's another Alt F4, then I'm gonna be going to his house tonight.
Oh,
But yeah, he said if you do Control Alt Delete or Control Alt E or Escape, sorry, then it will take you to the task manager itself. Excuse me, but yet I have yet to try that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just tried it. It didn't do anything, so I don't know
Oof.
about that.
Oof. All right.
All right, Sax, what were you saying about XP?
So my little brothers, they have a really old computer back here, and it is on Windows XP.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
It is
Well,
not connected to the internet since it's not supported.
you know that Windows actually still supports XP because there's a bunch of government computers that are like they have to keep running and they're on XP, so they can't be upgraded.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So because like the programs and shit on them, they can't be upgraded because they're so old. So Windows has like a contract with the government to keep up support for XP.
Yeah, I mean more, and even more than just certain programs is like there's a lot of like machining hardware and stuff out there that runs Windows XP embedded, and it's like, just a part of the system. It's not.
Yeah.
You can't really change that.
Yeah, exactly. I wish
Yeah.
they'd bring
I'm-
it back.
Honestly, nah, I like Windows 10. Windows 10, in my opinion, is the best operating system that Windows or that Microsoft has come out with.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it took everything great about Windows 7 and XP and Windows 8, even though Windows 8 was pretty shit. There were some good parts about it. Took everything from all three of those and just grouped it together into a phenomenal operating system.
Yeah, I didn't like Windows 7.
Yeah. Oh no, 7 was amazing.
Yeah.
And let me tell you why. Because oh god, I can't even tell you what year it was. I'd have to look it up what year it came out. When I had the compact Presario laptop I mentioned, this was, I believe, the year before I got that 8400 GS. I asked for an upgrade copy to Windows Vista. And let me tell you, with that poor laptop could hardly run XP. And Vista, like, don't get me wrong, like the arrow interface and everything was way ahead of its time, and I'm glad that got, like, brought into 7, but it was
The what
it was,
now?
the arrow interface, the way, like, the taskbar was clear, and the title bar for programs was clear,
Yeah.
or opaque and see through, and that was just way too much on my laptop. So I was really burnt by, like, the $100-something Christmas present that I was like, oh yeah, Vista, new operating system. I install it, and it can just hardly run it. You're sitting there at, like, using 3/4 of your RAM running the desktop.
Trying to start it up.
Yeah.
That's literally what happened with us when we got Vista. We couldn't run it. We had to go back.
Yeah. I hated Vista.
And it had
It
the
was-
widgets
hated
bar
it
on the
too.
side.
I mean,
Oh.
Vista was a necessary step between XP and 7, but it was
Yeah,
just
it's
such a
private.
shit operating.
Honestly, I don't think I ever used Windows Vista.
I never did.
never
because I
got
couldn't.
Yourself.
No,
I don't
like
think I ever used it. Period.
in
It's sort of like Windows 8 was kind of like a necessary step towards Windows 10.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
They
That's
went a
kind of
little-
how I see it in the same light as Vista.
Yeah, it was a little too far in the way that it was like they got rid of the taskbar immediately, and then it went to that whole tile
Yeah.
system, and
8.
it's not the
The tile
worst thing.
system was awful,
8.1 was a much needed upgrade from 8, but 10 was just I don't know. I love Windows 10. It's a phenomenal operating system.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tile thing would just look like, if you had a touch screen, great. If you don't, what's the point? That was the whole thing with that. But
Yeah.
on the contrary too, Windows 10 I have had no issues with. Windows 7 I didn't like because it had nothing but compatibility issues with it, and it was constantly coming into play with trying to just run a simple video game. And if that was an issue, then I think I don't even think I played video games during that time. I had like one or two that would run, and then I just left it at that. But on that note, it's just coming over an hour now. To keep this in wraps, so everybody gets some sleep tonight. We're gonna cut the podcast to an end tonight. If any of you fine gentlemen have any closing remarks, feel free to say so now. If not, Before you do say those, I'd like to say thank you for coming and giving me your time, and everybody else here your time to listen to you and get to know you guys a little bit better. But yeah, if you guys have anything to say, by all means, go for it.
No.
Oh boy. I mean, we didn't really cover me getting squad director a couple of weeks ago,
Oh,
but
congratulations! I just
Yeah,
saw
we
that
should
like
probably
minutes ago, eh?
yeah, I mean,
yeah, we should probably cover that for a hot second.
Yeah, go for that. I literally just saw this seconds ago when you had said that. I was literally looking in there and I'm like, what happened there? Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. So it is what it is, and I mean, I ran our squad servers from late 2018 all through last year, and it got to the point where they needed to split up kill room's duty, and I guess I was the next, obvious choice. So
They took bios,
um, Bios stepped up from squad director, and they split up kill room's position just because he covers so many staff teams. So they split up clan director into two different positions, and I moved up to squad director. I still run all of our servers, so it's been a little hectic, but just want to do my best and make the community succeed. And Bios did a great job leading us to where we are today. So I just want to do my best to keep building on that. We got our EU server. What was that, guys? Like a month ago now, early March.
Yeah, it's about a month.
So we've been doing our best to keep that populated and get some EU recruits in and build the clan up so we're not so North American centralized and keep expanding.
Right on. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I knew you guys got the EU server too. I completely forgot that they had actually taken BIOS and put him up to into a clan director role as well. Yeah, I guess that puts you in got some work on your list then there, don't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can't really keep up with DMs, so anyone that's listening that's DM'd me, I'm sorry if I have not replied.
I feel that. I feel that. I'm so sorry for not covering that earlier. Anybody who listens to that now and comes to the end is probably gonna rip my head off or just go after me for not adding that in sooner. I wish I'd known that sooner. We could have dwelled into it a heck of a lot more. But I guess I was planning on having Jay on next, but since you're squad director as well, I'm probably gonna have you on again as well, so we can actually dwell into that. Since Jay is a part of that, maybe we can get Murder too. We can talk
Yeah,
about what
absolutely.
the plans on squad
I mean,
are.
that's awfully convenient. Like me, Sax, Murder, Jay, and Pun all talk quite a bit. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to have me back on for Jay and Murder's podcast, I'm down.
Yeah, I'll probably have to message them tomorrow if they respond to my message tonight, and yeah, that'd be probably in the next 2 weeks then. Absolutely, we can see what's going on there, and maybe we can do a rerun of this as well and go over some more stuff.
Yeah.
In the
I'd
future.
be down. If you ever need me, if you ever want me back, I'd be down for another episode.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll even take you guys on for a host too if you guys ever want to come on for that. But yeah, again, congratulations and thank you again, gentlemen, for coming out and hopefully you guys have a good week. I know it's a Sunday night and hope everybody has a good, safe week at work and hopefully you get to enjoy your time off from school if you have it. So yeah, that concludes episode 4. I'm gonna wrap this up. So thanks again, gentlemen. Take care.